Microsoft. Please welcome Mr. Arun Jayendran.
All for inviting us to present here. So today I'll be talking about this whole transition to the cloud. I think Vijay brought up some great points in terms of how the industry is transforming, right? What are the key trends that are happening, and how cloud is really a big factor in the transformation. So I'll talk about Windows Server 2012, which we launched in September in the Microsoft Partner Summit. A lot of you were there, your organizations were there, and also the IDG event, Vijay's event in Hyderabad on September, right? So we launched this product. So we'll talk about the trends, how you can really benefit, how customers can benefit from the cloud, and what are the products that Microsoft is offering to support that, and how Windows Server is something as a core platform to enable that. So I've been in Microsoft for a little more than 7.5 years right now. I spent 5.5 years in Redmond. In fact, as the product manager for Hyper-V. We started off even before Hyper-V was there. So it's been a long time in developing the product. It's the third release right now, and talk a little bit more about that. And what we're seeing is cloud is something that's really gaining traction right now, both worldwide and in India. And that's one of the key trends we're seeing right now. Vijay alluded a lot to that. The thing I want to just add to that is why are people seeing value, and what is the reason? It comes down to three different factors, right? So it's economics, it's focus, and agility, right? So what we're seeing is, in fact, in the industry, one of my VPs, Microsoft VPs, referred to this point some time ago, and it's very pertinent. He said, there are a lot of things in the computer industry, especially we've been long enough, there are a lot of trends that come and go. But what really sticks is the one that really drives economics for the customer, right? Better economics for the customer. And you've seen that right from the mainframe times, right? When this whole desktop movement happened, right? You could get compute facilities and compute capabilities on your desktop at really, really low price. And that is something which drove that. And then when you kind of move to the client-server model, again, you can kind of get server-class capabilities at a much lower price point than what the mainframes offer. And then when you move to the internet, right, obviously a whole bunch of avenues opened up, which you can do things from your desktop and not necessarily go there. So that was, again, a cost driver. It really made this thing stick. Then, of course, virtualization, right? So consolidating many servers onto single physical servers, saving on space, power, physical servers themselves. So, and now the transition to the cloud. Cloud is something which helps customers save money, and that is why it's pretty attractive. And it is something that's going to be staying for a while, and the organizations that react to it and see how they can adopt it will really experience benefits at the bottom line and make their business more successful. The second factor is focus. I think even Vijay alluded to it, right? People don't want to deal with the IT problems, right? They want to look at businesses, their businesses, how they can add value. And that's what we're saying. Nobody wants to deal with a particular problem in Exchange or SharePoint or whatever that application is, right? You want to see how that can all be completely managed, and you want to see how the focus on the application that delivers business logic for your customers and your partners. And third thing is agility, right? Cloud is attractive because you can do things faster in the cloud than you would do otherwise. A simple thing like rolling out a VM, right, in a private cloud. To get a physical server takes a lot of time. Get it, procure it, configure it, and all that. Same thing can be done in a virtual machine just in minutes, right? Or adding users in Exchange, or adding users in onboarding a whole bunch of employees, right? A lot of these things can be automated from a cloud fashion rather than what's happening if you do it in the whole traditional way. So these are the factors why cloud is really attractive. And some of the other trends which you're seeing is, of course, on the mobility in the app side. So new patterns are being developed for applications, right? So application development. So previously, you have the traditional set of applications, but now people are writing applications that are being used by millions of users, right? Using millions of like output streams, large data, integrating with search, integrating with news, weather reports, and all that. So anything that's being developed right now, scale is such an important factor. And many times, and because of that, it's being developed directly to the cloud platform. And in our case, in the Windows Azure platform, because a developer writes an application. Of course, you write it with the idea of it being successful. And the moment it happens, you have millions of users using it directly. So how are you going to scale the infrastructure? How are you going to do all that? So that's something which a platform as a service provides, right? Like Windows Azure, where you can just directly write to the cloud model integrating with large amounts of data and all that. The third thing is the whole consumerization of IT. So this is something which you're seeing a lot that's happening. So people bringing their own PCs to work. They want to make sure it's integrated. People accessing from smartphones, mobile phones, really critical data, right? A lot of stuff that's important to the company at the back end. But people still want to access their Salesforce information, the sales numbers, and all those kind of things. So it's something that's very important. People are accessing through different kinds of devices. Sometimes it's thin clients, sometimes it's rich clients, sometimes through VDI scenarios. All of those things are happening. So the IT organization is looking. It's their responsibility to kind of provide access to all these different scenarios, but yet in a granular and secure fashion. So that's something it's an important trend that's happening. And of course, big data, which I get alluded to, is basically organizations are working with large amounts of data, and you really need a platform to kind of support that and get business intelligence out of it. So we at Microsoft, we are really committed to this thing. So we kind of looked at all these trends and to kind of build this. So we have Windows Server 2012, which is kind of the cornerstone of the whole Cloud OS. So we look at Cloud OS as something more broader, right? So it's a platform excuse me, which you have something running on-premise applications and something running on the cloud, and something where you see a kind of mix and match, a hybrid scenario, and where you can really move stuff from one model to another model and really enable this boundaryless cloud, if you will. And then Windows Server 2012 is something that's a cornerstone of this thing, along with Windows Azure, which is the whole platform as a service capability. And what does it do? 4 key things, right? First of all, this whole Cloud OS transforms the data center, right? Enables new, richer application models, right? Unlock insider data and really empowers people-centric IT. So we talked about the whole consumerization of IT. At the end of the day, we all know it's about people and how we want to access devices and data with the devices which we want and in a fashion which we want. So enabling this and something as catering to this is really an important thing, and we've really done a lot of work in Windows Server 2012 to really make it happen. We'll just look into each of these scenarios in a little bit more detail, and then we kind of look at how the specific capabilities which we've added in Windows Server 2012 to support this. So one big point before we get to this is, so as we see, cloud is something that's critical. You need on-premise capabilities, and you need something is running in the cloud, right? So something is running in a public cloud, or whether it be a hoster, or whether it be platform as a service capabilities. So one of the things which is unique for Microsoft, and it's really attractive, is Microsoft has a long history in developing both these on-premise software and in the cloud, right? So if you look at the cloud services, Microsoft isn't having things like Xbox Live, right? Bing, excuse me, Bing, right? Hotmail in the past. Then you have Outlook. You have on the server side, you have Windows NT, which has been there from 1994 timeframe. So one of the things is we've really learned how, many times in a tough way, right? How to really build large-scale services catering to millions and millions of users, both in the cloud side and on the on-premise side, working with large amount of transactions, large databases and all that. So what Microsoft is doing right now is really bringing the capabilities on the public cloud learning side into Windows Azure and into the server platform, and bringing the learnings which you had on developing the OS, right, from more than 20 years into the cloud. So that vicious cycle, that learning is something which is really feeding off each other, right? How do you really build something that's on-premise, and how do you bring cloud, best-of-breed cloud features and all that onto on-premise, and similarly, how do you take this and something that's make it into the public cloud, into the cloud platform with Windows, Azure, and in many cases in the Office 365 set of products also. So transformation of the data center, what are the key things which people want, right? First of all, they want the cloud-like characteristics which people get, right? Scalability, elasticity, self-service, automation, all of those things which people get in the public cloud, that's something they want to run on-premise, right? So one of the things we're really seeing is this hybrid cloud model really getting a lot of traction. And that's because of a variety of reasons, right? Because many times people don't want to put specific data, specific applications into the public cloud, but they want to get these cloud-like characteristics. So and run them on-premise. So private cloud is an area which, with Windows Server 2012 and with Hyper-V, we have made significant set of investments, right? So of course, with the enterprise Hyper-V, I have a slide kind of talks about all the different features on Hyper-V. Right, networking, scalable networking, and then virtualization across networking, storage, all these areas. Hyper-V is really made a tremendous set of investments, enhancements, and from an investment standpoint, we really put in a lot in this particular area to make it really attractive for customers to virtualize on. So if we look at the features from a virtualization standpoint, it's really amazing, actually. From a scalability standpoint, from a network virtualization, disaster recovery, backup, clustering, the features and enhancements are really amazing. And let me just share a short anecdote. When we did this launch, right, a few months ago, we had one of our partners who had come and they're talking, right, and when we kind of talked about our product to them, and they mentioned that after we briefed them, they really kicked the tires on the product, and they asked, and right after that, VMware had also come to brief them, and they asked them, hey, Microsoft is making all these claims in terms of Windows Server 2012, Hyper-V, making all these different enhancements. What do you think about it? And then VMware's response was, and they asked them, is Microsoft catching up to you? And VMware's response was, no, now we are catching up to Microsoft. And that's the level of enhancements and features that have been added to Hyper-V. In fact, Forrester, right, one of the analyst firms, they've written a public material, right, a blog on this thing. They said, for customers who are looking at a private cloud or a virtualization initiative, Windows Server 2012 is a platform they should virtualize on. And basically, that's the amount of capabilities that have been added, both from a scalability, robustness, feature level standpoint. And the biggest thing, of course, we all know is all of these things is available as a part of the operating system itself. So that's something which is really attractive for customers to virtualize on, and we're seeing that traction we're getting every month and every quarter in terms of our virtualization share really improving. So if you look at the next scenario, basically these new applications, right? We talked about it, right? People writing these modern applications, and many times running it to on-premise, and many times running it to the public cloud platform as a service capability with Windows Azure. So what they want is basically, with Visual Studio, they can really write to any of these platforms. They don't have to learn new set of applications, new set of tools. And one of the things is, now you can take a VM that's running on your platform, on Windows Server, take it and move it onto Windows Azure. So infrastructure as a service capabilities available on Windows Azure is something that's very critical. And you'll see, right? So this flexibility to build on-premise, IaaS capabilities, and with Windows Server 2012 getting this new enhanced web server capabilities. So all of those is really powering this scenario of these whole new cloud applications, right? Modern applications. So in terms of data, right, Vijay alluded to it. So basically, BI, business intelligence, is something that's very critical. People are working with large amounts of data, and you really need a platform that's secure and that's scalable to run these large-scale databases and large-scale applications using these large-scale data, and something which you can really get business intelligence out of it. So Windows Server 2012 and SQL Server in combination is something that really provides it. It provides a complete data platform, and you can get insights into the data, unlocking insights into the data through starting with Excel all the way onto the BI capabilities which we have. So that's something. It's another powerful scenario where customers can virtualize and run these large-scale databases on Windows Server 2012 and get the scalability benefits. And finally, the last scenario is enabling people-centric IT. I've discussed the scenario, right, where people want to bring with whatever kind of device they have and they like into the enterprise, they want to access it. Many times we have call center folks where the same PC is shared by 3 people, right, in 3 different shifts in the day. But when they log in, they need to get their specific set of preferences and specific desktops, right? So that's something which we're also seeing. So you need the platform to kind of support that. And VDI, right, virtual desktop infrastructure, is something as a scenario which really helps that. We've seen a lot of customers who are interested in that, where you are running the client desktop completely on the server side in a virtualized environment, and everything is streamed to the desktop, and the people feel like it's all running on the desktop itself. So it's a lot of enhancements to support the scenario in Windows Server 2012. And in fact, the VDI installer is just 12 clicks, right? Just in 12 clicks, you can really have a VDI infrastructure up and running. So Active Directory, of course, is something that's very critical, right? It's fundamental to everything we do in terms of integrating identities across all these different scenarios and all that. So there's a lot of enhancements in the Active Directory side also in Windows Server 2012. So that's set of products. Very quickly, I want to talk about the licensing, because I know that's something that's very core to a lot of you, and what we've done in 2012 is really made it easy for customers to consume, right? So the feature differences, it's all completely removed, right? If the 2 features, the 2 standard main SKUs, if you look at it, Windows Server Standard and Windows Server Data Center, it's basically both of them have exactly the same features, no difference. The only difference is the amount of virtualization customers do on it, right? So in fact, when customers look at it, they just say, okay, I'm going to virtualize how much I virtualize. Only that depends, only that changes whether I buy standard or whether I buy data center. So in the case of Windows Server Standard, for every license, you get 2 VMs free. In the case of data center, it's unlimited number of VMs. And both of them are licensed on a per 2 processor basis. So for every 2 processors, you need a license. So they really made licensing also simple, and aligned it with some of our other products, right? So we have System Center and we have ECI. So it's the same sort of licensing and the same sort of principles we have used. Basically, no feature differences between the SKUs. Its licensing is both on a per 2 processor basis, and you need CALs. So that's something which is really simplified and really easy for people to look at it and decide which one they want to buy. So the point I want to make is it's been about 6 months, a little more than 6 months, around that time frame since we've launched Windows Server 2012. Really strong traction. I think we're getting very positive feedback, getting very good reviews right from the product. I think the engineering team has really done a fantastic job back in Redmond on this particular product. It's, in fact, Forrester in the same blog, if you look at it, they'll say it was the biggest release transformation since Windows NT in the server space, and it's that big. And one of the things, actually, when we did a launch, I remember Ross Brown, one of our vice presidents, would come down here to talk about it. He said, anytime Microsoft does this big a change, right, the biggest thing is it creates a fantastic partner opportunity, because you even saw Vijay alluded to it in his presentation, right? The skills are not there yet, right? Because it's a big change in terms of all the number of capabilities not added, capabilities that have been added. So to really, the first 18 months, there's this fantastic opportunity for partners, for all of you, because you can come in there and be the trusted advisor, say, you know what, I can help you transition to the cloud. I know how to do the hybrid cloud. I can work with these set of technologies, build a private cloud, public cloud, integrate with System Center, integrate identities. So all of those things which once you have built the capabilities, you can be the trusted advisor for your customers, because that's what they're looking. And that's something which is lacking in the industry right now in terms of it not being there completely. And that's something which you can be there and provide these sort of capabilities, because it creates a huge opportunity. I've seen that many times in the past. When the big release comes out, in the first 18 months, the partner opportunity is really big. And he even mentioned another point. It's kind of the race to the customer, because you can come and say, hey, I have built these capabilities. I have done these set of accounts. I know how it works. Let's go do it. And that's really a fantastic opportunity for you. And another area that's really what we've seen is, see, our platform, right, virtualization platform it's clear, right? We have the capabilities, we have the features, and it's available as part of the operating system. So customers will save money by moving on to and virtualizing on Windows. But what happens is they have allocated some money, right? So if they allocate X amount of money for this thing, if the software cost is lower, the extra money, usually what they do is they pump it back into services, and it's a partner opportunity. So if you come and say, we can do this deployment, we can do this faster, we can do it, get this out done for you, that extra money usually comes back as partner opportunity for you, right? So going with the Microsoft solution is something which is attractive for customer, and it's great for you also, because it's directly extra revenue and that's allocated to you. And once you get the deployment done and be the trusted advisor for your customer and your folks, that's really attractive, because you get the dollars and you get the repeat business, because that's something which you're able to build the trust of the customer, getting these complicated set of technologies deployed in a seamless fashion. So so that kind of brings you to the end of the presentation. So we are seeing fantastic opportunity, and we're really looking forward to working with you and with Dell, right? And on Dell hardware, running the Microsoft private cloud on Dell hardware, working along with all of you to really help and bring value for our customers.